right, hello third grade, happy Monday. Today for reading, we're going to be going over identifying an author's statement opinion. So remember, we went over last week a little bit, what are opinions, what are facts? So remember, an opinion is something that a person believes, thinks, or feels. So it could be different for each person. When you read, it's important to notice the places where a writer states opinions. Then you can decide whether you agree with those opinions or not. So we know it's an opinion if it's not going to be in a textbook or if it's not going to be a fact where it's something we can look up and see for ourselves. It's a feeling that we have about something. So down here we're going to read, almost half of all children have had a cavity in one of their baby teeth. This is a serious problem. Cavities can cause children to lose baby teeth early. So in this sentence right here, there's 3 sentences, the writer states an opinion in the underlined sentence. This is a serious problem. Another person might have a different opinion about whether the number of children with cavities is serious or not. But right here, almost half children have had a cavity in one of their baby teeth. That's not an opinion, that's just a fact. But cavities can cause children to lose baby teeth early. That's also a fact because I couldn't really change that. But saying it's a serious problem, that's an opinion. Because someone else might view it as not a serious problem. So what we're going to be working with today is reading. Select the sentence where the writer states an opinion. So the first thing we do is read all the way through. Scientists used to think there couldn't be any life on Mars. Then they discovered that Mars has water, which every living thing needs to survive. It would be amazing to discover new forms of life on Mars. So the first thing we want to do is dissect each sentence. Scientists used to think there couldn't be any life on Mars. Well, that's true. That was in a textbook. That is what they said. Then they discovered Mars has water, which every living thing needs to survive. Now, that is not an opinion, that is a fact, because as we know, we need water to survive. Animals and plants, they all need water to survive, and they're all living things. But when we read, it would be amazing to discover new forms of life on Mars, now that's an opinion, because I could say, what if I didn't think it would be amazing? So someone else could have a different perspective, which means that is what makes it an opinion, because someone else could think a different way about it. So how do we know it's an opinion? Well, amazing shows what the writer believes, thinks, or feels. Another person might have a different opinion about whether it would be amazing to discover new forms of life on Earth. So let's do another example together. So what we're going to be doing is reading through what the writer states, and we decide where's the opinion in this. So knowing where our words come from is important. For example, the word library comes from a Latin word. The Latin word for book is liber. So now we have to decide what's the opinion in this. Well, first let's look at the facts. For example, the word library comes from a Latin word. Now, that's not something we can argue with. That is a true statement. And the Latin word for book is liber. So that's also something that we can't argue with because that is a Latin word. We could find that in a Latin textbook. But when we see knowing where our words come from is important, that's where it becomes an opinion because the word important. Some people might not think it's important. So that's how we know that it's an opinion. So let's do one more together. The ancient Maya people lived for many years in Central America. Well, that is a fact, right? We can't argue that. Spanish explorers arrived in the early 1500s and took over the lands of the Maya people. Again, that's another fact that we can't argue it. We could find that in a history textbook. The arrival of the explorers was the saddest thing to happen to the Maya. Well, when we look at this sentence and we see the saddest thing, that's how we know it's an opinion. That's someone's thought or feelings. So again, that's when we know that with this word saddest, that's how we know that's how someone feels about something. Someone else could have a different opinion, which would make the sentence sound different. So make sure to take your time reading. And just like we did for this one, we went through each sentence. And as we read it, we decided, could we change it? No, we couldn't change these 2 sentences because they were facts, but this one could be changed because it is an opinion. Have fun and take your time reading, and I will see you tomorrow. By third grade,